Disclaimer.
History is not safe for work, and neither is HistoricHole.
This podcast is uncensored and contains explicit language.
Welcome to HistoricHole. My name is David, and as always, I am joined by Jason and Michael.
Howdy.
Yo diggity. And we here at HistoricHole, we take a funny look at history. Sometimes. Sometimes it's sad. Sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's events. Today, what is it, Jason?
Today, we've been flirting with this subject for quite a while. It's a man who took over most of Europe. And the country he's famous for, he wasn't even from. Do you know who that man is?
I hope it's not who I think it is. No, I feel like this is a trap.
It is a trap.
Entrapment.
Starring Sean Connery. Today we will be discussing Napoleon Bonaparte.
Ah! Phew. Just saying.
Michael wipes the sweat from his brow.
I was like, today is when we get kicked off the internet.
A man who also found out that when you invade Russia, don't do it during the winter.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's cold.
Born Napoleone Bonaparte because he was born on Corsica, which is an Italian state. Hey. Yeah. Hey. He was born August 15th, 1769. His dad was Carlo. And his mom was Letizia.
Oh, yeah? Letizia Bonaparte.
Yes.
Hey, Letizia.
They were
Got
of,
some big old Tizias.
they were of in Corsica they were noble, but pretty much everyone else they might as well have been peasants. Just because Corsica, who gives a shit about Corsica?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time of his birth, France had actually just invaded and took over, so he actually grew up hating French people.
Oh,
No,
Interesting.
no, he hates them.
no.
Hates them. David, guess what his dad did?
He was a cobbler.
No, he was a lawyer.
Oh.
As most fathers of historical figures are.
Blood-sucking lawyers.
Yeah. And actually,
He worked for Satan.
yeah, and rose up within the Corsican Parliament, which was a subsidiary of the French government, controlled by the king.
Oh.
And he was seen as a traitor because he complied with the French invaders
Traitor.
to the point where he actually moved to France.
Les traitor.
Because being a member of the Corsican Parliament, the king had a...
So he's a traitor. And a work for Satan. Wow, this guy, great.
Of course Napoleon ended up being his kid.
And then he had Napoleon, who ended up taking over half. Good job, dude.
Was Letizia just like a baby killer? Like just threw them
Actually,
off the cliff?
she had
That's her job.
She had 13 kids,
Yeah, I bet she did.
Yeah.
but only 8 survived
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
She ate the other 5.
to adulthood.
To adulthood.
Yes.
She
They
waited till a
survived
few got a little bit bigger. Juicier.
They let them mature a little bit.
More plump.
It's like the difference between cow and veal. And don't talk to me about eating babies if you don't have a taste for it, all right? No.
Ho.
I'm just kidding. But there are people that eat babies.
They're out there, folks.
But beware.
Swift? Jonathan Swift? Was that the Irish eating
Yeah,
baby
you
thing?
eat babies, yeah.
The Irish
there's-
eater.
I don't know. I was just agreeing with you.
I don't know.
Because that punctuates my point that people eat babies, and but Irish, we don't claim him.
We just put a potato in his stead.
He probably just thought the babies were big potatoes. You know, it's easy to
Put
make.
it, bake it, pop it in a
Easiest-
stew.
Easy mistake to make.
The king of France was
You
prone.
get drunk enough, these Irish, you never know. Anyway,
the King of France was prone to have.
I thought there was a potato.
He was known to have,
right.
the other government officials come in and start, hanging out at Versailles with him.
Yeah.
All right.
Versailles.
Yeah, hanging out with Versailles. So he actually persuaded
What does that mean?
what Versailles?
Hanging out.
The
Like,
king
were they
would
making
hold
out?
court at Versailles, and Carlo being in a prominent Corsican
And
federal employee.
Is he
I guess.
getting advice? Is he
No, he's just there.
Hanging out.
chilling?
Yeah, he's literally
Hanging
just
out.
hanging out. Unless something involving
on a
Corsica
trip.
comes up, then he does something. But other than that,
I think I could be helpful.
they just because the king just wanted everyone to hang out and enjoy themselves.
Hang out, guys.
Okay, so it's kind of building relationships.
Yeah, exactly. It's networking.
Rubbing elbows
Drinking wine.
And
with
he
the hoity-toity
and he
elite.
French.
he rubbed the right elbow and got Napoleon a scholarship at the Royal Military College in Brienne-le-Château,
Oh.
Sounds prestigious.
where Napoleon went, and he was alone, and everyone hated him because he was Corsican.
That's funny.
And he was just surrounded by
Fuck you, Napoleon.
He was
Short
ju-
bitch. All right.
he was not short.
Well, he's kind of short.
He was my height.
He wasn't.
You're short.
Actually had a pretty short temper. So
Because most short guys go off the chain.
and
Short
Jason's
people
short.
got
He's representation.
no reason to live. Short people got... Have you heard that song? It's supposed to be a comment on race in America, but they're using short people as a metaphor. But it's true.
and he was also further isolated because he was surrounded by French kids of French nobility. So he grew up hating French, and then especially French nobility.
So he was just a hater.
A hateful kid.
A hater.
Got separated from Letizia, from the teat.
Rhaegar.
At least his back's to the camera, showing some class. He's there studying at the military college. At 9 years
hates
old,
him.
he moves on to the military academy in Paris.
At 9 years, he's at.
Yeah, that's all I was thinking. I was like, what?
Are they sword fighting, these kids? Are they learning battle tactics?
Bayonet charges.
What is.
Oh,
what is
I'm
he-
sorry. He's 9 years old when he attends the college, and he studies for 5 years, and then moves on to Paris after the
okay.
5 years. Yes.
So now he's 14.
yeah,
And he's going to a military college.
academy. Now it's an academy
Okay.
in Paris.
And he's learning here to fight
Yeah,
military tactics.
military tactics. He actually starts apprenticing with the artillery,
Oh.
which I don't know if you know Napoleon at all, but pretty nifty with the
Shit going
Yeah, he's my
far.
fan.
cannons.
Yeah, he's my best friend. I know. I've heard about this.
He won't shut up about
I
it.
know. The artillery. The artillery.
He always tells me over pillow talk.
So he
You want
does.
to tell us, Michael? About
He's short. I'm
Napoleon?
tall. It works out. The physics.
He's a power bottom.
So he's doing maneuvers with the military.
Yeah, he is.
Out in the field.
Yeah, he is.
And then we have July 14th, 1789 occurs.
Ooh.
Napoleon is 20 years old at the time. And as we know,
He was 20 years old when the event occurred. I was not sure.
the Bastille. Now this is like Saw 6 when we find out that Napoleon was just in
Yes.
the background of all these other events happening.
The historical equivalent of Saw.
Do you want to conquer a country?
So the revolution begins.
Pit of needles.
And Napoleon can get behind the motives for the revolution because, one, he hates the monarchy, and also he sees this as a chance for
Ironic.
himself to move to advance in society, being a not of nobility. He sees more mobility within the social structure. So he's like, yeah, I can get behind this.
Who needs nobility? when you have mobility.
Yeah, who needs nobility when
And-
you have mobility?
And the nobility's getting their heads cut off.
Yes, in 1792, as we know, Louis loses his head. So Napoleon, feeling the revolutionary fervor,
In his bones.
takes it back to Corsica with him. Because he's like,
He puts it in a
my
bag.
people, I want my people to be free too.
Yeah.
He boxes it up, takes it back. Have some fervor.
Fervor on tap.
We have it in can form.
This whole country's got some fervor now.
Everyone's like cheersing with fervor.
Fervor. Drink some fervor.
So while in Corsica, he actually leads a few rebellions against the French occupying force. He starts teaming up with some Corsican nationals.
Of course he did.
But one sect of the Corsicans, they thought his daddy was a traitor to begin with, and they just see this young man who's been in France for a decade.
But I didn't like it.
I hated them the entire time, I swear. They were like, yeah, no, you're basically French to us, so you can fuck off.
Le fuck you.
No, it'd be the Italian.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So feeling disowned by his people, he eventually goes back to France. And
Plays the Charlie
now
Brown
officially defines himself as French instead of Corsican.
I guess I'm French.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm French.
He don't want none of the sauce.
And didn't really
Throwing meatballs like from across the country. Artillery meatballs.
yeah.
That's what he
Trebuchet.
learned. They always got me from afar.
when Napoleon returns to France in 1793, he comes back during the Reign of Terror. So when he gets back in Paris, it's
What
just,
the hell? He gets back. Shit's on fire.
Roll up the windows, kids.
It's like, well, I guess I'm French
lock
now.
the doors.
Gets up over the hill, like, oh man, I'm going to tell everyone I'm French now. What?
Maybe not.
Can you hear the people sing? They're like, shit. I can get behind this.
Right? Still,
Napoleon's like the Joker at the end of the movie, just standing on a thing. Like, yes.
so while
Everyone's wearing Napoleon masks.
he's still in agreement with the
The big
revolution,
hat.
still the tricorn hat.
The tricorn. Is that what it's called?
I don't know what his sideways one was, but there is a hat called the tricorn. So, he still believed in the cause of the revolution, and obviously still being a military man,
Still has some fervor.
starts, joins back up with them, and Robespierre sends him down to Toulon, which was on the coast of the Mediterranean, which had been besieged by the British.
Where haven't we invaded yet?
Because at
See the
this,
Union Jacks down there.
as we discussed in the Reign of Terror episode, once all the revolutions in France started, all the other countries which had prominent monarchies were like, what the fuck is happening over there, and marshaled armies together to invade France. So you had Britain, Austria, Russia all teaming up to invade France.
Britain
So
didn't really care about the monarchy part. They're just like, we're just going to invade because it's France, and
right, so
we still have our queen.
the Austrians were doing land battles, whereas Britain, with the greatest navy in the world, decided to just go over through the Mediterranean and just fuck around on their southern coast.
Shoot at them from afar. Artillery.
So Napoleon gets there, and all the army commanders are basically morons.
It's running around,
somehow
hitting each other on the head with
have
pots of
command.
pants.
Yeah, have command. And Napoleon gets there. He's like, well, if we just put some cannons on this roof here, we can fire into the harbor at the ships. And all the commanders are like, no, that don't make sense.
It's like, point the guns at them.
And it took him a little while until someone came along and was like, yeah, it's a good idea. So then they did that, and he got a little promotion. just a little
Le promotion.
little promotion. So over the 3 months he was sort of campaigning around France, he went from captain to brigadier general. Ooh. He's rising up in the People's Army of France. He's doing quite well for himself.
Rising up, back on the street. Eye of the Tiger, man.
Yeah.
The thrill of the fight.
That was Napoleon's favorite song. He told me over
That's
pillow talk.
He composed it. What are you talking about?
His rises through the ranks here. Just this is the
montage.
montage song we got playing here.
Montage.
Just him lighting fucking cannons.
Just him telling a bunch of people to point the cannons in the right direction.
No, he did. He was up front, leading the ranks.
He was on the cannonball. They launched him.
No, he actually would. He would load cannons himself.
Wipes the sweat off his brow.
You're not doing it fast enough. So, 1794, the Reign of Terror ends with Robespierre getting his head cut off.
Getting roped.
Enough. Enough of you.
And at that time,
Your bullshit.
things are starting to chill out. So Napoleon journeys back to Paris as a little, he's got some war fame. A little hero, maybe.
He's got some war fame. He's got some blood on his hands.
Petite hero. And it's while in Paris at the time, he meets Josephine.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Who is 32 years old. He's at the time 26.
Ooh.
She's widowed because her husband got guillotined. And she got two kids already and known to be
a MILF.
Of loose morals. Many suitors pop by her residence. And Napoleon's just like, wow,
The woman for me.
she's amazing.
She's just like doing...
The tongue rolls out of the mouth.
Yeah, doing like two dudes at the same time. He's like looking at her going, oh, look at that woman.
She was actually the mistress of one of his friends at the time when they met.
She's got like wooden teeth. Ugly as sin.
Right. But also while in Paris.
Sorry, Josephine fans.
Actually, I'm a big fan of Jo. She's sweet, even though she's a slight whore. But
Some slight whoring.
also while in Paris at the time, there was a little rebellion against the revolution that's purpose was to reinstate the monarchy, which Napoleon was automatically against. Like, no, fuck the monarchy. I'm doing fine now. These people's government shit.
His mouth was full of croissant, and the informed was like, no.
Spit it out.
Yeah. You what?
So
Start thinking of crowns.
the directory.
Spills his champagne.
Falls on the ground.
The directory at
You
the
say
time,
monarchy.
which was the leading parliament, the head of government, asked him to defend Paris. He was like, okay. So he just lined up cannons in the streets.
Him and his cannons.
And when they wouldn't back down, he started firing at them.
Well, we have no choice now. They've called our bluff.
3 weeks after that little massacre, he finally got promoted to general.
Oh.
Finally.
And he's, 26 years old.
26-year-old general. Way too much power.
With his 32-year-old whore wife.
Who he marries March 9th, 1796. And then 2 days later is like, I'm going to go fight Austrians.
that post-wedding fervor.
Just short honeymoon.
Yeah. He's like, how about we take our honeymoon in Austria?
What if you stay
This
here?
may be crazy.
He's
And
like,
I leave and go fight a war.
And she was all for it because the suitors
yeah, you
started
go
coming
fuck,
back.
you fight that war, baby.
She's like, that's cool. I'll just go make some money.
Yeah. And then, the gentleman callers start appearing again. So he...
It's on the phone, getting banged. He's just like talking to Napoleon, like, oh, everything's going great. How's the war going, honey?
Bang.
What's that noise? Yeah.
This is my cannons.
well, I got a cannon here with me, too.
Oh, God. Come on. That gun's looking mighty tasty right now.
His name is George. I mean, its name is George. It's a 9mm.
His name is Cannon.
No, it's French, so it's Philippe.
Yeah.
George sounds too English.
Could have been George.
Yeah, the English.
But Ward probably got around
such
about
a good
horse.
morals. She's such a good horse. She's known across the channel.
People just piling onto boats to get up.
To be clear, she wasn't in fact a whore. I'm just using that as a derogatory statement.
Let's back up.
For her
Oh,
slutness.
now let's be factually correct. Okay, yeah.
For her being a huge slut.
I'm
Anywho,
gonna shoot you. It's the only way to be sure.
so Napoleon
Just nuke it for more.
invades Austrian-controlled Italy, which isn't a thing yet, but we're calling it Italy.
Hey,
The Italian states.
we're gonna be a thing.
Austria has, some puppet governments in Italy, some friends. So Napoleon decides to take them out before actual Austrian forces can arrive.
Cut the strings.
Decimates them. 6 battles in 2 weeks, they bow out.
We're good.
Yeah, wins every single battle. And then the Austrians show up.
Uh-oh.
And he starts beating them back.
Just beating them off.
Took him out behind the shed.
Then we
Beat 'em
come
off with a stick.
to the Battle of Lodi, which the Austrians retreated across a river and were defending this bridge. And Napoleon was like, well, we got to take that bridge. And everyone's like,
Well,
are you mad? You can't take a bridge. Full frontal assault. You have cannons
More
firing at
champagne
you.
fell.
monocles fell out.
Guns shooting at you.
But sad.
So Napoleon, being the charismatic motherfucker that he was, just started riding around. Was like, no, guys, we're going to take the bridge. And everyone was like, we're going to take the bridge? He's like, yeah.
He's riding around his horse. It's like, this bridge.
Yeah, this is
the greatest bridge.
no, this is the Independence Day speech.
It's the Independence
All the
Day.
speeches combined into one.
Yes. And everyone's like, fuck yeah, we're going to take the bridge.
You're goddamn right we're going to take that bridge.
So they take the bridge.
Yeah,
Just start throwing bodies across this thing. And Austrians are like, for bridge.
for bridge boys.
Austrians are like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
It's just a goddamn bridge. Why don't they go around?
Right? Ford up the river. So the Austrians get defeated and then get pushed back to Milan, where Napoleon liberates, and all the Italian people are like, thank you for getting Austria out of our hair. That's really nice of you. And in France, Napoleon's seen as a fucking hero because he's gaining fame for France, the People's Republic of France, which being a baby entity in the stage of
Infantile.
Europe with all the old monarchies, that's a big deal.
Be looking like a potato.
To be shoving your power around.
A potato government.
But then after a little while, Napoleon just starts sending Italian art.
Starts launching it through the air.
No, he starts sending it back to France. It's like, well, this is ours. We conquered this.
We're going to take this.
And
now French.
started filling up a museum that would become the Louvre.
The Louvre.
Yeah, he sold a bunch of items from, of Michelangelo, Raphael, all those guys,
Oh, yeah.
statues and shit, just shipped them right back to France.
Mine now.
So the Italians started feeling like,
No, wait a minute. Hey!
whoa, hey, I thought we were on the same side here. And Napoleon's like, oh, I'm French.
You thought wrong.
You've become the very thing you swore to destroy.
Then you are lost.
So after a little while, he has Austrians out of Italy. So he's like, all right, well, now we're going to take it to them, take it to their home court, and invades Austria.
Game
itself.
6.
Take the fight to them.
Yeah. And Austrians are, because of his tactics and everything, they're taken aback. They're like, okay, young buck. Like, all right, fine.
You're obsessed
We'll
with these bridges.
Yeah. You You attack a good bridge there, sir. We will bow out.
He attacks a good bridge. Say what you will, but he attacks a bridge pretty goddamn well.
And Napoleon himself, without any authorization from the French government, actually starts negotiating with Austria about peace terms. Starts demanding all this shit like, oh, guess what? You're going to give us Luxembourg, and, you know, we're going to take some more stuff around the Rhine. And
So he's just
Austria was like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? No, we're not doing any of this. And it's said that he overturned a
Table?
coffee set.
because he couldn't do a table because it's so short.
Yeah.
So you had
like the
teacups,
little- it was like-
teacups fucking falling all over the
It was
place.
like that plastic, like red and yellow table kids use in the
And
backyard.
and it was, and is known to have said of Austria, your empire is like a maidservant accustomed to being raped. It's like, God damn.
Oh god damn!
That's harsh.
All the Austrians dropped their beer steins. Instead of champagne, it was just like big like dropping. What?
Rape? Yeah.
That's only what we do on Sundays.
So they came to an agreement eventually. They ceded some land. And then Napoleon went back to France.
Sup?
Hero. Everyone wanted to
Suck his dick.
be with this guy. And he goes back home.
Except for Josephine.
And while he was in Austria, he actually got some news about several gentlemen arriving at his home.
Did he now?
And was like, hey, bitch, you know, I want a divorce. We're done. We're through. This is over.
I'm gonna kill all those guys too. See, I would have been real nervous, like, you know, just getting the newspaper, you know. It's like, wait, that's your husband, right? Yeah. The one who apparently is conquering half of Europe. You didn't tell me it was that.
So eventually
He's a tiny ass motherfucker. I don't care about it.
they do work it out
Oh, do they?
through the night. She pleads with him.
Yeah, starts with a fight.
Leads with
I won't
He's
do
just
it
throwing
again.
champagne at the wall, and eventually,
I'm sorry.
I still love you.
croissants and baguettes and champagne at the wall. Just
I'm sorry. I love you. I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She's
I'm
just
sorry.
like, I didn't know what came over me. There was so much champagne.
And then they reconcile. And from then on, no, she doesn't cheat again. Like, because she's loyal.
no more champagne. She
Yeah.
stops drinking.
Got her act together. Got some new teeth.
He, on the other hand, he saw a lady he just went after it.
Because that was the agreement.
Yeah.
And see, this is why you don't cheat. Otherwise, Napoleon will fuck everything
Conquer Europe.
And he does.
and conquer Europe.
Over the next 15 years, he quite fucks everything. So as I said, the government at the time was the Directory.
In a manner of speaking.
He quite fucks everything. As he said.
But the Directory is really just useless. It's sort of like the Confederate, the Articles of Confederation. Just pointless bureaucracy. You really can't get anything done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Napoleon's like, well, while y'all are dealing with that, I'm going to go get me some more of that fame and glory that I like so much. And with a fervor, traveled to Egypt
Uh-oh.
with 35,000 troops.
And then he shot off the nose of the Sphinx.
He actually didn't do that.
I know. It was joking. That's why I said it. Jason.
Yeah, we don't make jokes here, Jason.
Not on my watch.
He didn't do that.
Actually.
Not on my watch. He lands in
He
Egypt.
called Napoleon's wife a whore the whole time. But
He flew to Egypt.
He flew, yeah, with boats.
You said he lands in Egypt.
flying boats.
He and
And the Chinook. Napoleon's arrived.
just hanging out the side of the Chinook.
First one on the ground, last one to leave. It's still a Chinook, but he's still dressed up in the French military garb, holding on to the hat.
So he lands in Alexandria July 1st, 1798. And his goal in Egypt was to
Shoot off the news at the
disrupt trade routes between India and Britain. Obviously, his longtime
Just
foe.
wants to fuck with Britain. Yeah.
Just wants to fuck with Britain. Because the Directory and him had planned on invading Britain, but when he came back from Austria, they hadn't really quite worked everything out. So he's like, well, I need to invade something. So he just went to Egypt.
It's just like getting like all anxious. Like, oh man, that gotta invade something.
It's my fix.
That Egypt's looking at me weird. What are you looking at? I'm gonna come over. Don't make me come over there.
That's actually a statue used to fix. Why are you looking at me? I'm gonna shoot your nose off.
Give me that stone.
While fucking around in Egypt, he does battle with the Mamelukes.
Who are you? I'm gonna fight you.
You want to fight?
Which they were, seared, sword-wielding horsemen, and he has artillery, guns, all this stuff.
He's like, ooh, a fair fight.
Yeah. So in one of their major engagements, the French lost 30 guys, 29 or 30 guys. The Mamelukes lost 5,000 or 6,000.
Totally fair, guys.
Because all he did was he just positioned his men in a square, and then they just moved around the battlefield, just shooting at these horsemen.
The horsemen are like, what the fuck?
Right? What is this? Black magic. While moving around in Egypt, Britain and their giant-ass navy, they found the French ships at dock and
Well, look what we got here.
destroyed them all. So now Napoleon's stranded in Egypt. Like, now he's got to forage. He's got to he has no supply lines. He's got to do it all on himself. And while there,
Lone survivor, Napoleon.
well, since he had all this time now, and for some reason he had a bunch of scientists and geologists with him. He's like, let's explore Egypt. And they found the Rosetta Stone.
Yep.
Well, look at this.
Oh, this is weird looking. This might be useful. Let's bring it back with us.
Oh, we accidentally broke half of it. I'll just tell everyone we found it this way. Oops. Stop shooting.
So they do a lot of research into the pyramids, the Sphinx, but with all this,
Its nose.
yeah, right,
Lack
taking measurements. But Napoleon, this is not what he does. He didn't want to fucking study anything.
All this learning.
So he decides to go invade Syria. But while invading Syria, he has a little problem with the Black Plague. Pops up in his army. So he's forced to retreat. And the plague's running through his army. And he's just like, I want to go back to France. And
I want to go home.
steals away. Just leaves the army in Egypt. And just goes back to France himself. Just hires a boat. I think 2 French ships survived the English attack, so he might have taken one of them. But yeah, he just gets the fuck out of Egypt.
It's like, oh, Napoleon on that boat.
Dibs.
Wouldn't he? Did he tell us what to do before he left? What are we doing? He arrives back in France in October once again, because no one really knows about all the mishaps he had while in Egypt, because he had invested his money from the army in newspapers.
Fake news.
Yeah, he actually had a newspaper that circulated within the army itself, and then one that nationally circulated in France. So yeah, he was just pumping out propaganda. He was commissioning artwork to, to give off a view of him being more. I mean, he was a badass, but still, what's a nice painting against just someone's word? Something to look at. Yeah, so he was actually pretty good at propaganda. So when he returned to France, everyone was like, great job over there. Even though 10,000 people died.
And there was an army still in Egypt.
Yeah.
It's like, what happened?
Even though the director even brought that up, it was like, hey, that's sort of desertion. But Napoleon was like, yeah, go fuck yourself, because who's the most popular man in town?
Yeah, what you gonna do about it?
Yeah, I deserted.
You're goddamn right I did.
Yeah, I didn't know how to continue it. We come to November 1799. His brother, and Lucien.
He had a brother.
He had
You can't just drop this on here.
He had 7 other siblings.
Yeah.
I said that in the beginning.
Yeah, I thought they were
5
all
of which
eaten.
were eaten by his mother.
Yeah. The teats.
Yeah, we already got through that.
So the director is useless. So him and his brother and some other conspirators are wanting to create, perform a coup d'etat. Just take over the government, peacefully, politically, through
Peaceful coup.
through voting
Bloodless
and whatnot.
coup.
Bloodless
Yeah, bloodless coup. It doesn't turn out that way.
It was bloodful.
Very. So you have the coup happen, and then there were constitutions being written every other day.
Yeah.
Around this time, and they were agreeing with it and then ripping it up and writing a new one. So the newest one they wrote put 3 consuls as the head of the government in France, Napoleon being one of them. Then a couple years later, after being named first consul, he decides to invade Italy again, because while he was in Egypt, Austria is like, hey, he's not here. So Austria snuck back into Italy and set up shop again. So he's like, oh, those goddamn Austrians. I got to get rid of them again. So he goes through the Swiss Alps and attacks Italy from the north, sort of like what Hannibal did of Carthage.
Oh, that Hannibal.
Against Rome. You get to June 14th, 1800. You have the Battle of Marengo, where he just keeps feigning retreats, and the Austrians are like, oh, okay. So keep chasing him, and then they eventually all die, And then kicks Austria out of Italy again. Another peace treaty happens.
Peace Treaty 2.
Which Austria, they finally are like, okay, fine, we'll stop fighting. Napoleon brokers a peace treaty with Britain. So now, for once in like 30 years, Europe is at peace. No one's fighting anyone right now in 1802.
Guess it was a good year.
Yeah. When also another constitution was written. And this one got sent to Napoleon before approval, and he did some edits, some rewrites.
I am king.
Consul for life is how he termed it, which is pretty much just dictator of France.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Which is where we will leave it.
All right.
Or he's the dictator.
Yes.
He's
Clever.
a dick potato.
Ooh, that looks tasty.
Yeah. Yeah. So a dictator is either somebody who, is a violent one single ruler of
Despot.
a country, or a tater tot that's shaped like a dick.
A phallic potato.
That's a dictator right there.
Yeah.
Isn't that just a French fry?
If you learned anything today,
A steak frite?
Dude, if all French fries look like dicks to you, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean,
All right.
as long as they were still McDonald's fries, I mean, people probably still eat it.
All right, so we're going to do the shill stuff.
Shill.
Give us 5 stars on iTunes.
If you
That'd
want.
be cool. If you don't,
That's fine too.
We'll find you.
we'll go invade your country
Yeah.
like Napoleon
Yeah.
and exile you.
Yeah.
Follow us on social media, Instagram and Twitter, even though we keep getting like banned and unbanned and then banned and then unbanned because they're, I don't know what's going on. We're at the whims of these fucking lunatics that have control of all this bullshit. Word of mouth is the best advertising we can get. So if you like this, then that's the way to support us.
Yeah.
Just tell people, be like, hey,
This was funny.
these people are funny.
It's slightly amusing.
Or
Slightly.
not funny, or they're entertaining. I don't know how to describe us.
Just be
because-
like, this is terrible. Listen to it. Listen to how bad it is. It's like watching a train wreck.
yeah, right.
It's like The Room.
It's like cringe-topia. All right. You can email us at historichole@gmail.com if you want. Like, you don't have to because nobody does.
That's not too happy.
It's what?
I said, don't sound
Just
too
don't
happy.
sound too happy. Yeah.
joke.
What am I ever?
Joke.
When am I ever happy when I'm chilling?
Yeah.
I never sound happy on this show.
I know, it was a joke.
Unless we're talking about eating babies.
It's shaped like
Yeah,
potatoes.
No.
A baby-shaped potato. No.
All right.
a
Our
potato-shaped
statement of
baby.
modernity this week is everybody hates you, including your mother.
Except for Letizia. She loved Napoleon.
To eat.
She liked him. She liked the taste of his flesh. He's just kidding. Life is full of holes. Enter wisely.
Au revoir.
Let's